Hey guys, welcome in, welcome in. Hope you can hear and see me okay. I decided to go live and we're going to have an early edition of Chit Chat Tuesday. So I hope you guys are doing well. I think it is Tuesday, right? It is Tuesday. Joe Marie's here. Wave, Joe Marie.
Can they see me?
Yeah, they can see you. Say hi.
Hi.
So
Why's my hand not in?
just say hi.
Hi.
So live from the cabin. It's a very, very busy cruise. So I was trying to find a spot to go where it's quiet. And if you guys know, Royal Caribbean always has music blasting everywhere. So it's kind of hard to find a quiet spot. And there's a lot going on today. And there's a lot of people on the ship. But I hope you guys can hear and see me. I hope that I'm connected. Let me know if you guys can hear and see me. I didn't announce that I was going live. I just decided I was going to pop up live because honestly, there's nothing going on right now. So figured now it's a good time to go live, just to kind of chat with you guys. So let me know if you can hear and see me okay. Have no clue how the Wi-Fi is working. I've been able to do a little bit of work from the ship, but I have not been able to upload anything. So I don't know if it's working or not. But welcome in, LaShonda. Thank you so much for being here. And Daphne, thank you so much for being here. Hope you guys can hear and see me okay. And if you are just popping in, I am live on board Quantum of the Seas. We are headed to Alaska. It is day 2 of the cruise, and today is a sea day. And so, yeah, so I have no clue how the reception is working. I recall our last trip to Alaska, we had very, very spotty coverage. So, if this is too spotty, I will disconnect, but I just wanted to pop in real quick to say hello. And then I thought because it is Tuesday, we would just call this a early chit chat Tuesday and just kind of talk about how this cruise is going so far. Questions you may have about Quantum of the Seas Royal Caribbean, feel free to ask. But welcome in. LaShonda saying hi to Joe. Thank you so much, Daphne. Thanks for letting me know. Natasha, I'm on board Quantum of the Seas. This is going to Alaska, and we have a small group of people on board with us. I'm calling it a very intimate group. We had some last minute cancellations. We had some other things happening. So a very intimate group. I think there's 16 to 18 total on board with us. But yeah, so far having a good time. But yeah, we're on Quantum of the Seas. Thank you so much, Sydney. Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. It says happy cruise day. Yes, yes. And we actually boarded yesterday. Today's a sea day, guys, but the time change, the whole West Coast just throws me off. If you guys have been following, I was on the West Coast last week, went to Disneyland, and was on board Ovation of the Seas, which is the sister ship to Quantum. The first vlog for that series is already out, so be sure to check that out. So literally, I think I was home 3 days and now back on the West Coast, or I was on the West Coast. So I'm tired. So between that, the time change, so there's a 3 hour time difference from the West Coast from Ohio. And then they went back an additional hour today. So 4 hours behind local time. And yeah, I'm just not adjusting very well. So it takes a minute. And I recall this happening the last time I was in Alaska. Just takes a minute to kind of get used to the time difference. And then the fact that there's a lot of daylight. And so I'm the type, I have to have pitch black when I sleep. So I have an eye mask or what have you. So I have to have, and so once that light pops in, I'm up. And that's what happened this morning at like 4 o'clock. Welcome and hang out with the Hordes. Appreciate you being here. Welcome in, Shelly. Good afternoon to you. Welcome in, Team Reese Travels. Appreciate you being here. Adrian, welcome in, welcome in. Team Reese says, do you like Quantum as much as Ovation? I'm going to be biased here for a minute. I think I think I've gotten spoiled. So this is the thing. A couple of my last cruises were what you would consider preview or media sailings. And so and actually you guys know Team Reese was on board with me on Ovation of the Seas. Check out Kiki's, I think you did a first impressions vlog for Ovation of the Seas. So check that out. Um, yeah, I went to a bar and ordered a drink, forgot I had to pay for it. So it's one of those things where it was, I think, getting off a ship that is identical to this ship. Like, it's really nice because I knew exactly where everything, like, I didn't have to learn the ship. I pretty much know the ship inside out now. But I also, being on a media sailing or preview sailing, was a lot less people. This sailing is at 100% capacity. And when I tell you, I almost feel there's more kids on this ship than I've seen on Caribbean cruises. To the point where Joe Marie's actually here in the cabin right now, and she would normally be in the kids club. The kids club is at capacity. I don't think I've ever experienced that. The only time I've ever experienced a kids club being at capacity was Disney Cruise Line, and they wouldn't even let me book. So they're just that proactive when they know that there's going to be a bunch of kids on board. They wouldn't even let me book because they said that we're at capacity for her age group, so she's not going to be able to book. You're not able to book the cruise. And I was like, well, what if she doesn't go to the kids club? And they said that's not how it's going to work because your kid's going to get on board. They're going to want to go to the kids club, what have you. So Joe Marie can't even go to the kids club. So that's, it's a C day. And so the next session is what time, Joe?
2 o'clock, and we're leaving at
Yeah.
1:30.
So the next session is at 2 o'clock, and we are going to be leaving to get her there in line probably like 1:30, 1:45 to make sure she can get a spot to at least hang out. She's made some friends already. So,
They were in the kids club.
right.
That's what
So yeah, so this sailing, it's filled to the brim. And I think with it being Alaska, of course, a lot of the outer decks are closed currently because we're at that period where, if you guys have ever cruised Alaska, that first day of sailing, a lot of times it can be rocky until you get toward like the inside pastures or the fjords or what have you. Then it becomes almost like glass, like a mirror. You're just, I mean, like it's just so smooth. So you experience that. So they've closed off pretty much all of the outer decks. So everyone's confined to the inside. And so it's interesting because it's just really busy. So it's hard for me to compare Ovation and Quantum. They're identical. I will tell you so far, the food on Ovation was better than Quantum, based off what we've had so far. A lot less people on Ovation, so my experience was a little better. But I mean, overall, the service has been good. Really no issues at all. So, Sylvia's Journey, welcome in. Yes, we're enjoying it so far. Katie says, have you been on Norwegian before? I have. I've been on a couple of Norwegian. My last one was Norwegian Sky, and I honestly did not care for it. I will be giving Norwegian a try. If you were to ask me which cruise line is my least favorite, I would tell you Norwegian. But everyone has their own personal preference. So it's one of those things where I say, try it for yourself. You may love it. I have clients that only sail NCL. So it just depends on your cruising style, kind of what you like to do. So. But yes, I have cruised on Norwegian. Adina Collins, welcome in. Hello to you. Erica says that 3 to 4 hours can be rough. I stayed on East Coast time up to 4 a.m. sleep, 10 p.m. ship time. Yeah. And for me, the funny thing is, like, I could go the opposite direction. So, like, when I was in Barcelona, there was a 7 hour time difference. I was perfectly fine. It's that going backward or having the going backwards that throws me off. The Barcelona being ahead, it had no impact on me. So I you probably can hear it. I'm like exhausted right now, and I've had coffee, a few cups, but yeah, I'm just tired. Tamika, welcome in, and it doesn't help too that it's really cold. So guys, when I tell you that there is such a drastic change from the time you leave Seattle, yesterday it was 85 degrees in Seattle. If you guys noticed any pictures I posted yesterday, we were in shorts. We went to dinner. Our dinner time is at 5. So they do dining early here. So our group has dining at 5 p.m. We had the option of 5 p.m. or 7:30, and 7:30 for us is too late. So we opted for the 5 p.m. But we were out of dinner. Like, it was a quick service, like an hour and a half. 6:30, it was 30 degrees out. I mean, literally, we walked out of the dining room and we had to go somewhere, and we had to go on an outer deck, freezing. So it's like a drastic change once you pull away from Seattle. And Seattle was experiencing what they would call a heat wave. But yeah. But the weather, welcome in Ellis McKinley. Appreciate you being here. Right now it's just very windy. It's cold. I think the low right now is, I think right now it's like 40 degrees. So that's cold. For me, because we've lived in Ohio the last 13 years or what have you, it's not super, super cold. Some people, they would say it's really, really cold. It's manageable for me. If it gets any colder, that's where I have trouble. But I think the high for this cruise is going to be 60, and the lows are going to be like in the 30s. So a little bit colder than when we first cruised Alaska 2 or 3 years ago in July. So it's a little bit cooler here in June, but we're not expecting any rain. So I'm excited for that because we didn't have any rain the last cruise. And if you cruise Alaska, you know that sometimes you can experience a lot of rain in Alaska. So right now, looking at the forecast, we don't have any rain scheduled. And guys, if my camera's rocking, that's because the ship is rocking. uh, T. Marie says I could definitely get used to all the free mocktails. Yeah, yeah. So it's difficult when you go from a sailing where you didn't pay for anything and everything was included to For instance, the what is it called? The capsule. I can never think. Northstar. So Northstar, I learned day one, it's free. I had no clue about that. Otherwise, I would have made reservations as soon as I got on the ship. Once I got wind of it, there was no way for us to get a family of five on it. So if you guys don't know, that's the 360. It's 350 feet above sea level, I think it is, and it rotates 360 degrees to give you those views. So for Alaska, the first day, because you're in port, it's free. You just have to sign up on the app. Had no clue about that. You sign up in the app and it's free. Once we sail away, now there's a fee because you're going to get those beautiful, Alaskan views and things. So it's $44 per person. And for me, $44 times five to go up for, in this case, 30 minutes, whereas on the previous sailing it was 15 minutes. That's not worth it for me. So you guys won't get that view. But yeah, so it's funny going from here you go, do this, do that, don't pay for it, to now everything. It's like, so yeah, that's different. But having a good time. Welcome in, Keish. Appreciate you being here. Lady Yo, welcome in. Happy Tuesday to you. Travels with P&B, welcome in, Paul. Appreciate you being here. Natasha says, love hearing about all the different ships and cruises. I'm going on Icon in July. We'll have a great time on board Icon. Icon is, I do have a vlog series on Icon. I was on board the media sailing for that. Was it last year? Think so. Last year.
Last year.
Yeah, last year. And so overall, I had a great time. I have been one to say, though, that I feel like the price point for Icon is not palatable, especially for families. It's a big ship. It's a nice ship. I personally don't necessarily need like the mega ships, but I know a lot of people that love Icon. It is a really nice ship. But for me, like I don't need all the bells and whistles like that. But it's a big ship, a lot to explore, and especially in my case, it was 3 days, so it was really quick. But speaking of Icon, we were also invited on board Star of the Seas, and I don't know if you guys heard this, but Diana Ross is going to be the godmother of Star of the Seas. So I was already excited to be invited on board Star of the Seas for the media sailing. But then to get wind that Diana Ross is going to be the godmother, which means I haven't heard 100%. More than likely, she's going to be on board my sailing, and she's probably going to perform if it's similar to other media preview sailings. That's my guess. I'm hoping. So if you guys know me, you guys know I love Motown. That is like my favorite thing. My dog's name is David Ruffin. So, I mean, I'm like really stoked for that in August for Star of the Seas. But enjoy Icon of the Seas. Oh, and your first cruise? Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're going to be spoiled after that. Welcome in, Ronnie C. Welcome in, Tracy. Catherine says, I was on the Bliss May 3rd through the 10th, and it was cold. Yeah, I can imagine it was a lot colder at the beginning of May than it is now. I don't know if I would cruise Alaska that early for that reason. Erica says, last year in July, we had the Alaska mid-heat wave 50s through 70s. Yeah, and you were packed for 30s and 40s. We didn't overpack. Yeah, we didn't overpack. In fact, Ron was looking at me. We were walking. He was looking at me saying, you look like you're just at home chilling. I'm like, it's different attire for Alaska. I mean, I have on a hoodie. I have on sweatpants. I have on my Crocs and some thick socks. And that's what I'm looking like today. But so yeah. I think we packed, like, I told everyone to make sure they had a couple pair of shorts just really for Seattle. But we are like pants, hoodies, sweatshirts, pretty much all cruise. We did pack coats, but I don't know if we're going to need them other than when we go whale watching, which we're doing whale watching in Juneau. So to kind of give you the rundown, we're going to Sitka. That is our first port, which is tomorrow. And our tour for Sitka got canceled. And I still don't have a clue how, when, why it canceled. But I'll be honest, I honestly wasn't too upset about it because I was debating whether I wanted to do that tour anyways. And I booked it just to have something, and then it canceled. So that was my sign that I didn't need to do that. So Sitka is just an area. It's an area that's really known for its wildlife. It's what do you call it? The raptors, brown bears. So it's really known for that. So it's a very scenic town. So you have to catch a shuttle from the ship because of where I think it's called Sitka Sound. That's where our cruise terminal is. So you have to get to the downtown area. So Royal had been sending out emails saying make sure you reserve your shuttle to get there so there's no delays. So we're at this point, unless I find something today, we're going to kind of wing it in Sitka, which I very rarely do. Ron thinks that'll make a great perspective, just saying, hey, we were canceled. We're trying to figure out what we can do. This is something you can do last minute. If your trip happens to cancel. I have a suspicion that the person, because we were doing a private tour, like in someone's SUV, and they were taking us around, and they were going to give us like photography skills using our iPhone and taking us to all these scenic spots. Maybe they were sick or something, but I didn't even get an email saying that it was canceled. I just went. Typically, if I cruise and I'm at a hotel the day before, I always make sure I have all of my documents printed. I make sure that I have, any shore excursion thing printed. So when I was at the hotel, I was just going through all of the ports to make sure I had everything. And I went to go print my ticket for the Sika tour. And I'm like, why does it say canceled? So then I had to go back in my emails and there was nothing. So I'll resolve that, figure that out later. But I'm like, maybe that was a blessing in disguise. So we have Sika. And then Skagway, we are doing a tour through Shore Excursions Group, I think, where we're going to see the huskies, the puppies, and we're going to go on a very scenic tour. We're not doing the train. I debated doing the train through Skagway, but the reviews that I've heard and some of the things that I've seen, like for the kids, like me and Ron would probably really enjoy that, the scenic view, but the kids not so much. So I figured putting the husky dogs in there, that'll be fun. So we're doing that in Skagway. Juneau, we are whale watching, which I'm really excited for. I'm still kind of debating whether I'm going to do this glacier tour. There's a glacier going, the Endicott Arm Glacier. I'm debating whether I'm going to do that. I don't think it's going to work because of the timing for the tours. But once we get to Juneau, we have whale watching, and then we're trying to get to the salmon bake right after that. I had tickets through Royal Caribbean for the salmon bake right after our whale watching tour, but our whale watching tour, we had to adjust that because our port times adjusted by almost an hour. We were supposed to originally be here at 1 o'clock, and then I looked on the itinerary and it changed to 2. Well, we're docking at 1:30. Our tour was for 1:30, but they said that gangway doesn't go down till 2. So we had to change the whale watching tour, which thankfully we were able to get a whale watching tour, and we have people from the group joining us for that. So we're doing that. And then Victoria, I think is the last port. Victoria probably is going to get off and catch the shuttle to the downtown area because I have not done that yet. Tamika says, I wanted to get with you about becoming a travel agent. Do you have any tips for me? I just love your channel. I'm just going to say this. I do have a couple of live stream videos that talk about how I became a travel agent. I am not in the business right now of coaching people on becoming a travel agent. Only because if I spend a lot of time doing that, I'm not spending time doing what I'm doing as far as the content creation, operating my own agency. And so it's just one of those things where I'm just like extremely busy. And as much as I would love to help coach and guide, I just physically don't have the time or the energy to do that. So I'm not at that point where I get this question probably at least once a day. I just can't because I have so many people asking, so many people wanting the information. So whenever I can go live and share, I don't mind going live to share. In fact, my next Monday midday cruise Q&A, which will be on the 23rd. What's today?
Today is
The 23rd. I'm going to be doing being a content creator travel agent. So mark your calendar for that. It'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So then you can come there and ask all your questions. So maybe once every 6 weeks, I plan to open up the Monday midday cruise Q&A to focus on being a content creator, being a travel agent. That way, everyone that has questions, that's where you can ask me and I'll just share with you everything that I know. But as far as like coaching one-on-one or doing anything like that, I physically just I don't have the time, honestly. But yeah, and it's one of those things where I'm a helper by nature. I'm an educator by nature, so I want to help, but I also have to make sure that I'm managing what I have going on. And I just can't with so many inquiries and so many people wanting to know about that. Jeff says, I hope you have prepared and brought winter clothes. It was very windy when we were just on Anthem of the Seas last week. The highs and all the ports were in the middle 50s and very, very windy. Yeah, it's very, very windy today. So I'm anticipating there being some high winds. So we'll see what happens, but I appreciate that tip. Bernice, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome in Wanda and Pembroke and Belinda. Cruise and Capers, welcome in. Sonia Stewart Betty, welcome in. Erica says, it is not free on port days. Yes, anymore. It is free on embarkation day. So embarkation day, not port days, just embarkation day. Because we were in port is what they explained to me. But after after embarkation day, it is a fee. But if you are cruising on a ship that has the Northstar, if you have a ship that has it, once you get on the ship, try to get it for the day you get on the ship. That way you can get it free. After that, there is a fee, whether you're at sea or whether you're at port. My understanding is it operates differently in port than at sea. They do more of an extended view when you're out at sea. And then the way it rotates, it goes from one side, like it can go left to right, and then it rotates around. They will not go left to right when you're in port, but they will do that when you're out at sea. Welcome in, Cassandra. Appreciate you being here. Natasha says, yeah, the price was insane. We saved for a year and it's our first cruise, so we wanted to do it big. You're going to do it big and you're going to always want to do it big. So continue to save your coins because I guarantee you're going to be hooked right after you sail and be ready to book another cruise. So start saving up. A lady who says, I'm going to Alaska this August for my birthday. What kind of weather temperature do you think they will have? August, it could still be a little rainy. July is like the rainy season for Alaska. You should have a lot more. It should be a lot warmer in August. Well, depending on what time of year in August, well, depending on when you go in August, it'll be warmer than what it is now. I'm guessing like highs in the 70s, lows maybe in the 50s. When I was in Alaska last September, I think it was last September, it was like 70, 75. So yeah, you'll be fine. It'll be warm. I mean, warm, that's relative. Natasha says, I love to cruise to Alaska, but I live in Florida and it's so much easier to go to one of the ports here. It is. It is. But it's one of those things where I feel like if you want to explore and see places and see things, you kind of have to step outside of I go here because this is easy or because this is right around the corner. Because honestly, some of my favorite cruise experiences have been some of my most recent cruise experiences where I stepped outside of Port of Miami and Port Canaveral. So me cruising out of Rio de Janeiro, amazing experience. Cruising out of Barcelona. So I know that's further to go, but you'll get a different experience cruising outside of Florida. So whenever you're ready, I definitely encourage you to do that. You get a totally different perspective of cruising when you cruise outside of those ports. Not that those ports are bad because I love Port of Miami is my favorite because it's quick and easy, and you have a lot of ships that leave from there. But no, it's not. Remember, it's an hour different.
Also, let me see.
Mhm. Jeff says, "Go and see Totem Park." I think we will. I think that's in walking distance from what I researched. Um, Erica says Sid could go to the Visa Tide Center and walk the Trail. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We're probably just gonna get off and walk. If there is a tour, like an hour long, like drive us around the town, we might do something like that. And then just kind of explore on our own. But we're gonna wing it. We'll see. I'm not really I'm a planner, but I'm not really a planner. I don't mind just doing spur of the moment things. But when I'm traveling with the family, I like things to be a little more organized so I don't have to hear complaining or this is boring or this is, you know what I'm saying? So it's like for me, I would get off and just do whatever. But for the kids' sake, I want to make sure that they have something that they're going to be interested in. And it's not just we're just out in this town and they're not really enjoying it. Savvy Voyages, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. So I'm gonna grab my water. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, I decided just to go live quickly. There's not a whole lot going on this sea day, so um, figured that I just go live for a little bit. And I'm not going to walk around the ship though because the ship is packed. The outer decks are closed, so it's just going to be hard trying to walk through all the people on decks 4 or 5, where everything's located. So Travels with PNB says, love the salmon bake. Yes, we loved it when we did it in Juneau before. The last time we were in Juneau, we did Mendenhall Glacier, the salmon bake, and we went to a salmon hatchery. And it's probably one of my top tours, like probably ranked in the top 10 of tours that I've done. And Dyson was actually looking forward to that for the salmon bake. So we're going to try to find a way to get to it. The issue was our whale watching tour was originally supposed to end at like 5:30, and then the salmon bake was at 6. Our back on board time is 8 p.m. And so I asked work because we booked it through Royal. And I asked them, I said, well, can we just like Uber to the salmon bake and use our ticket to get in? And they said, no, you have to check in on the bus and then they bus you there. So they wanted refunding me for the tour, but we're going to see if we can just get to the salmon bake on our own, have dinner there, and then get back on the ship if we have time. That's our plan. Erica says, I missed the cathedral. It was closed and we came from the from Castle Hill. Okay. Welcome in Together We Travel. Appreciate you being here. We have 102 people watching. If you guys don't mind hitting that like button for me. And if you are new here, I'm Raquel from MH Family Adventures. We are currently cruising on board Quantum of the Seas, heading to Alaska with a very small group of friends and subscribers. So far we're having a pretty good time. It's day 2. Today is a sea day. We boarded yesterday. Not a whole lot going on today for C Day. There are a couple of seminars that I'm planning on going to. One being one for Antarctica. They're doing a seminar for Seabourn, which is a sister company, luxury company to Royal Caribbean. So I wanted to check that out because I have some clients looking to cruise Antarctica. So I want to get more information. So I'm doing that. There's a couple other things going on, but not a whole lot until like this evening, where there's going to be a couple of shows going on. I think a comedy show, what have you. And if you guys missed the first part, there's a lot of kids on board. Joe Marie's a little frustrated because she can't even get in the kids club. They're at capacity. So a different experience. Miss Tiffy PD, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Erica says, how much time do you have in Victoria? We're there for 5 hours. If you guys don't know, Victoria is kind of an obligatory stop for cruise lines. There's a law that says that cruise ships have to they have to stop or dock in a foreign port before returning to the US. So if you ever have a stop for Victoria, I say probably 90% of itineraries that stop in Victoria during an Alaskan cruise, it's going to be like a 3 to 5 hour stop. There are a few itineraries where you might have a longer port day, but for the most part, most cruise ships just stop there before they return to the US. So we will get off. You guys know I'm a coffee drinker. We have Tim Hortons back in Ohio, and I don't like it anymore. I used to love Tim Hortons. And so I'm like, oh, I'll get off, get to go to Tim Hortons, get the elephant ears, whatever people talk about, and we're going to get back on the ship. We're not going to do a whole lot there. Jeff says, heads up, don't expect to see any catering or anything with the glaciers on this particular cruise on Royal Caribbean. Yes. So because of the size of the ship, yeah, my understanding is we won't be able to go deep into the fjord where the glacier is. That's why I was debating doing the actual Glacier Explorer, which we did before on Carnival when we went to a different glacier. My issue with the one that Royal's offering is that it sounds like it's an extended period of time of just cruising. So it'll take you to the glacier. You'll be out there for about an hour, and then you literally have like 3 hours or so from the time you leave the glacier getting to Juneau. When I cruise Carnival, and I can't think of the glacier, Tracy Arm Fjord, the glacier that's there, we went out. I think it was maybe a 3 hour tour altogether. We went out, we spotted a lot of wildlife, bears, and all kinds of things. Getting there, we spent probably about an hour near the glacier, and then it took us back to the ship. The one for Royal, it doesn't take you back to the ship, it takes you straight to Juneau. And so they recommended not to have a tour right after because you could be delayed. And they said there's a lot of ice currently. So I think that anyone on that tour, it could take a little bit longer getting to Juneau. And I don't want that, especially because we have whale watching. And whale watching is my priority for this trip because I absolutely love wildlife and I love whales and things like that. So that is my priority. So I probably won't do the glacier tour. Welcome in, M. Rosser. Appreciate you being here. Tamika says, okay, the 23rd. Thank you. Yes, the 23rd for the cruise Monday midday cruise Q&A. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I already have it scheduled. So if you go into the live stream tab, you can turn on the notification. It says cruise Q&A, but it's really going to be a travel agent, content creator Q&A. I'm going to update the thumbnail. Sheila says, how's the food? Not as good as it was on Ovation. We had dinner last night in the main dining room. If you guys, the food was okay. It just, I honestly feel like Royal just has gone downhill as far as the food. I didn't really eat much, honestly. I had a crab cake, and the crab cakes are so hit and miss with Royal. I've gotten on some ships, you get the crab cake and it's mostly real crab meat. And then you get on the next ship and it's like that breaded patty, like thick bread with imitation crab meat. That's what it was. Then I had chicken sag, which is the Indian dish. That was delicious. And then I had cheesecake for dessert, but it wasn't cold. It was like lukewarm. And I'm just funny about cheesecake. I need my cheesecake cold. Joe had a key lime pie. That was really good. For breakfast, we had buffet. it was breakfast buffet. I mean, it wasn't bad, but nothing really spectacular. We're gonna be going to lunch here soon, so I'll let you guys know how that goes. But I mean, food's not bad. It's just not. I felt like the food was better on Ovation
And
from
the
what I've
eggs.
had so far. Um, what else? There's something else. Oh, and then on Ovation of the Seas, where they have the fish and chips, which is complimentary, they actually have like a noodle. Um, bun type shop here because this ship I believe was designed for Japan because there's a lot of translations across the ship, so I didn't realize that. I know Ovation came from Japan, but I think this ship was designed for Japan. And so I was excited when I saw that because I love a good noodle dish. I love noodle soup. I love it, anything like that. So I was excited because I was like, oh, it's in the spot of fish and chips. So that means it must be complimentary. It is not. It's an upcharge. They do have like chicken tenders and fries there, but if you want to get any of the bowls of soup, the noodles or anything like that, it is an upcharge. I will be trying it, but I like to have those complimentary options. Welcome in, Tangi. I appreciate you being here. Welcome in, Rachel. Jeff, it says if you play bingo and you win, keep an eye on how much they tell you you're winning and how much you actually get. Actually, funny you say that because I was in line to get bingo tickets earlier, but I figured I'll go to the next session because the line was too long. But I haven't played bingo on Royal in a long time, so I said I might just give them a try. Catherine says, is it possible to see the Northern Lights? I was told June might be good due to better, clear weather. This really isn't the time for Northern Lights, but it's never a guarantee on a cruise. Like I get clients asking, like they want almost a guarantee. It's never guaranteed because we can't predict the weather. So this really isn't the time for it. Usually like that September, late August, September is the best time for Northern Lights. But yeah, it just depends on the weather. Um, Erica says, "Wow, that changes this year for North Star. Wonder why they changed it. We did it in Seattle just because it was an open time. Wanted to do it in port, but it was one time uh, fee only. Welcome in, see it with see. Appreciate you being here. Welcome in, Game Changer. Hello, hello. Welcome in, Curtis. Says Ron finally behaving. He's working right now, so yes, he's behaving. He actually took off this week for the cruise, but like right now, where it's there's really not a whole lot going on this morning, this early afternoon. It's like why not just get online and work a little bit to kind of stay caught up. So that's what he's doing right now, but he's technically off. But yeah, he's behaving right now. If you guys know what Curtis is talking about, go check out our social media. Together We Travel says looking forward to Alaska in August. Nice. Hope you have a great time. It's possible I may be back in Alaska. I'm trying to figure it out on my schedule. I'm working with Princess Cruises, so possibly September, which I'm not really a fan of because I did September before and there wasn't much wildlife, but we'll see. I'll just be getting back from Greece with the family, so I don't know if that'll happen or not. But have a great time in August. Now in August we will be in Greece with another group. Now that group, it's funny how groups work, and this is what I was explaining to the group at dinner last night. It's like we have a very small group on board this ship. And I honestly, when I put it out there that we were going to do a group cruise or have a sail with me or what have you, that I didn't know what to expect for Alaska. Of course, you get a lot of people booking and then people started canceling. And then, but it is what it is. We have our Carnival Conquest group cruise month. Next month. Next month we have our Carnival Conquest group cruise, and we have 90 so people on that cruise. So it's gonna be a different vibe. Alaska is just one of those things that, it's a bucket list item for a lot of people, but it can be costly. And I totally understand that. And really it's not even really the cruise. It's all the add-ons. It's going whale watching. It's because if you're here, Alaska is not really one of those ports where I would recommend just let's get off the ship and just go buy a souvenir and get back on. You really want to experience Alaska. So I say, when you're ready to do Alaska, try to come after you've saved or have money to try to do some things, maybe balance it with like we're getting off in Sitka, not doing a whole lot, but we're going whale watching after that. So it's one of those balancing acts. But we'll be in Greece in August with a group of about 60 people. So I'm really excited for that in August. Travels with PMB says in Skagway, I just walked around the town and ate at the restaurant near the port. I didn't do the train either. And the train's expensive. The train is expensive. So we would have been looking at almost $1,000, if not more, for our family to ride a train. That's how expensive that scenic Skagway, the Yukon, whatever they call it, that train is expensive. So when I saw the price of that, I'm like, no. And the kids wouldn't. I will eventually do it, but the kids just would not enjoy that. Taking a train ride. Thank you, Jeff. Totem Park is in Sitka. I will definitely add that to my list. And it's walkable, I'm understanding. Welcome in, and Stuart. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, Deborah Bell. Yes, Team Reese, this is a 7 night sailing. So 7 night sailing, which we haven't done a 7 night sailing as a family in a while. So we have this 7 night sailing, and then I get off this cruise, and I think I have a week and a half break. Then I have another cruise right after that. Um, Erica says, "Is your Victoria time like 8 p.m.?" I think our port time is 5 p.m. We will be in Victoria 5 to 10 p.m. Beaver Tails, yes. Welcome in, Tracy. Appreciate you being here. Gandy Getaway says, "Hello, love your channel. Was this ship affordable? I'm trying to choose between Royal or Carnival for my first Alaska cruise." Um, I mean, Royal is always slightly more expensive than Carnival. I would say consider the vibe, the style that you want for cruising. I will tell you that we sailed Carnival to Alaska and now on Royal. And again, I can't really gauge things because we're only a day and a half into the sailing. But the vibe for me on Carnival, I felt was a little better than what's going on right now with Royal. There's just, for me, it's just not a whole lot of activities, which I sometimes say about Royal. So really, I would say pick it based off the vibe. The price point, it depends on the type of cabin that you select. We do have an ocean view balcony, and then the boys, they have a virtual balcony of interior cabin with a virtual balcony. So it really just depends on, it just depends on what type of cabin you select. I will tell you this would be a ship where I would recommend getting a balcony. And this is why I say this, because like right now, the open decks are closed because of wind. Now, once you get closer to where you're going, that won't be the case because it won't be windy. But there's really not, outside of the solarium, the adults only solarium, which is adults only, and 270, which is it 270? I keep saying 260, 270, 270. Those are really the only areas you can go to view things. And so I can imagine that like tomorrow or the day that we're going through Endicott Arms, that those areas are going to be jam packed with people, particularly those who don't have balconies, because those are going to be the areas to go viewing, and viewing from a protected area, especially if you get rain or anything like that. So I would say it might be, you know, you might want to consider getting a balcony. But I will say this too, and I'm going to be posting a reel probably tomorrow about this. You don't have to have a balcony for Alaska. Here's why. So people will guilt you. I'm not that type of travel advisor. I'm going to try to sell you a balcony. Get what's comfortable for you. I have people on the group that are in interiors. I have people that are booked in balconies. It depends on your style of cruising. People spend a high price for balconies, and I can tell you that our balcony was probably double the cost of the boys' interior balcony. And you may not always be able to use your balcony. Me, I'm always cold natured. So like I'm not going to sit out there on the balcony for an extended period of time. If it's too cold, I'm going to be kind of in and out. But you can get rain, which means you're not going to use your balcony because you're not going to be out there in the rain and the cold. Um, Sometimes the balcony can be very disruptive to your sleep in Alaska because you get a lot of daylight. Again, I'm a person, I have to sleep pitch black. And so as soon as, 3 a.m. turns on and that first sun ray comes in, I'm up, I'm done. So if you're somebody that you don't want your sleep disrupted, you may not want a balcony. So, and then the cost of it, if you're someone that's like, I'm more adventurous and I want to experience the ports and the shore excursions and this and that, what have you, it might be better to save and then take that money and take a helicopter tour to a glacier or do something like that. So you don't have to have a balcony, but I would say if you can't afford a balcony and want a balcony, this would be the type of ship that I would get it because there's not a whole lot of protected viewing areas, if that makes sense. Jeff says, which stayed on the ship? We stayed on the ship and all it was you cruising through and looking out the window of your balcony and seeing nothing but growlers, still pretty, but no mountain covered ice or snow. Yeah, and I think that depends on the time of year. And I think for this particular going through Endicott, is it Endicott? Yeah, because it's Dawes Glacier, Endicott Arms. When you go through Endicott Arms, it's not like Tracy Fjord. Tracy Fjord, we were able to pretty much, the ship was able to get pretty close, but it also depends on the ship's size and the amount of ice. So there's a lot of variables there on how close the ship can get to the glacier. But pretty much, yeah, if you don't take a tour, which honestly, there's no tour to take other than the ship's tour through Glacier Explorer that will get you up to the glacier, or if you do like a helicopter tour of some sort. But the ships, depending on the size, they can't get close because it's dangerous. And so they'll get as close as they can and they'll do a 360 turn so everyone on each side of the ship can see, but that's really it. If you don't take a glacier tour, then you won't see that. And it's worth it. If you love those types of views and you're into that kind of thing, we did it when we were in Alaska before, and I absolutely loved it. Very, very scenic, very beautiful. We saw whales, we saw bears, we saw eagles, we saw sea otters and all kinds of things. And then the beautiful glacier. So it's worth it. It was expensive. It was probably $200 a person back then. I think it's more now. So, excuse me. Welcome in, Beauty Queen Dennis. Appreciate you being here, and shout out to the 121 people watching. I appreciate you guys being here. Busy, welcome in, says, what a coincidence. I just emailed you guys about an hour ago to help me plan an Alaskan cruise next year. Can't wait and hope you're having fun. Well, thank you so much for emailing. We will follow up as soon as we can. I appreciate that. Priscilla says, I'm new to your chats, but I really appreciate your vlogs and information. I'm looking at Princess Cruises for Caribbean. I love cruising. Well, reach out to us, Major Adventures Travel. We would love to help you plan your Caribbean cruise on board Princess Cruises. But thank you so much for being here in the chat today. Drina, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Belinda says, question about your group cruise July 2026. Is deposit due now for the group rate? So for Carnival, so for your, I think you're speaking of Carnival. So Carnival Celebration, we have a group cruise July. So yes, so right now the rate is slightly higher than if you have an old flight. Like I haven't advertised that cruise in a while. It could be slightly higher. If you have a casino rate, I can book you at your casino rate. If you have a VIP offer, I can book you at that as well and move you into the group to get any perks that we may have. But I need to update the flyer that's like on our website because the group rate deposit date has already passed, but you can still get booked into the group. And if your VIP offer or your casino rate is better than our group, you can still be part of our group. But if you have a casino offer, then you can't get certain amenities from Carnival as having a casino offer. So Barnes on the Go says we're sailing to Alaska on Sunday for the first time. We're super excited. Nice. Says yes, excursions are really costly, especially for a family of four. One excursion was going to cost us over 2,000. I believe you. I believe you. They're expensive. They are really, really expensive. And you also have to kind of gauge to see like the age of your children. If you're cruising with young children, like are they okay with doing this tour? Is it worth them? Are they going to really appreciate it? Because like when we did whale watching before, you guys know Andrew's not really into wildlife or being outside and things like that. He was bored out his mind. We paid for it. I mean, he's going with us this time. He's a little bit older, so hopefully he'll appreciate it a little more. But you kind of have to ask, is this something that I want to do, or is it something that the kids want to do? Like the whole glacier thing, like paying $200-300 per person. The kids wouldn't appreciate the glacier like Ron and I would, so we wouldn't pay that for them. That might be a time where we keep them on the ship, but I wouldn't keep them on the ship unless I knew I was coming directly back to the ship. So yeah, you really have to kind of gauge to see what it is that the family wants and that the family will like. See what she says. I sailed in an interior on Celebrity Edge to Alaska. It was fine. Absolutely. You can definitely do it. And Celebrity Edge, I think, has probably more viewing spaces on the inside than. Oh, you scared me, babe. I'm live. Sorry. There's Ron. So yeah, you can cruise an interior cabin, no problem at all. Um, yeah, it just really just depends on what you do, what you want to do. For me, I like to get to see. I'd like to be able to not have to get up and get fully dressed and go out and see things. So that's just for me. I also, as a content creator, it's nice to be able to put up a time lapse. Put up my GoPro and get a time lapse going into the fjords, things like that. So that's why we have a balcony. But I'll be very honest. I don't know how much we're actually going to sit out on the balcony And now, once we go through the fjord, yes, because we're going to be going through there at like 5 in the morning. So that'll probably be a room service morning. And I'll sit out there because that's when you're really going to have prime time for seeing, a lot of wildlife. So we'll probably spend a lot more time out there then. But other than that, I've only been out there like 3 times. And it's right now it's too cold and too windy. See what C says. Went to the upper deck for the scenic day and then found a lounge with views of the water for the rest of the day. Yep. Yeah, that's how you do it. It says we didn't go to Tracy Arm last week due to ice flow. Yeah, and they kind of already prepped that there's a lot of ice right now. And so I don't know if there's a chance for the glacier tour to be canceled, but I think they're prepping that the ship probably won't get very close to the glacier. Will G says we went to Endicott. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. So yeah, Endicott. So yeah, it's possible we may not even get close to it. We'll see. Welcome in on the go with Yola. Appreciate you being here. Now, are you back from Greece? I've been following your updates. Absolutely love Greece, and I've been appreciating your updates. Well, you're welcome, Belinda. Pixie Ann, welcome in. Says, I love watching your videos. New subscriber. We're about to do end of July on Quantum of the Seas to Alaska. I'm hoping the weather will be fine. If anything, you might get a little bit of rain. July is going to be nice and warm. We did July. It was like the third week, I think, of July when we sailed before. We didn't really get any rain. I think we might have had rain like overnight one time, but as far as the ports, didn't rain. And it was nice and warm. I say nice and warm, that's relative. Nice and warm meant like 70 degrees as a high. Janice says, I've heard that so many ships are going to Alaska, it's harder for ships to get close to see the glaciers. Have you heard this? Yes. That is becoming an issue. And what's happening too, because Alaska's so seasonal, it operates usually the end of April through the end of September because it's so seasonal. People pack into Alaska. And so the residents are kind of, I don't want to say they're over the tourism. It's just a lot for them during those few months where there's a lot of tourism. And so a lot of ships started pulling away from Alaska. And you probably also noticed that port times have changed. And that literally happened to our group because when we first booked, we had certain hours. And then Royal Caribbean notified us that your port times have changed. And then this last port change never got notification of, but the whole hour change in Juneau we didn't know. And then that just kind of popped up when I was planning the excursion. So the ships aren't spending as much time in Alaska. But I can tell you the cruise lines you want to cruise on if you want to spend more time in port. It's going to be Princess Cruises and Holland America. They have priority in Alaska. Just because of their history there, them being ranked the top cruise lines for Alaska. If you ever, and you can go right on the line right now and test what I'm telling you. If you look up a Royal Caribbean itinerary and a similar Princess itinerary, I guarantee you Princess Cruises has a longer port day for all the ports. You'll also notice that when there are certain ports in Alaska where you might have to tender, or like for our case, Sitka, we have to get on a shuttle to the downtown area. You'll also notice that Princess and Holland America, they have priority as far as docking. And so if anyone's going to have to take a tender, it's probably going to be Carnival. It might be Royal Caribbean, not always, but that's just kind of what happens. And they have so much priority that, like, even Princess, a lot of the ports in Alaska, you don't even have to pull out your credit card. You can use your medallion to shop in the shops. That's how connected Princess Cruises is to Alaska. So if you want longer port times, research Princess and Holland America and see how those port times compare to like Carnival or Royal Caribbean. And the reason I did not do Princess or Holland for this group cruise was because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't sure how many families we were going to attract with young children, and I knew I wanted it to be something that if we're having a group, we want to be able to invite families on board. And so that's why we decided to do Royal this time instead of Carnival. But the next time we do Alaska, it won't be either. It'll be Princess or Holland America. Welcome in, Candace. Says I cruised Quantum 2 years ago to Alaska, and my husband and I loved it. Yeah, it's a great time. We're having a good time so far. I just wish there were more activities on this sea day. I mean, I have a lot of work to be doing, so I probably shouldn't be asking for more activities. But it makes for I don't want to say a dry vlog, but there's not a whole lot going on today. So the vlog might be a little dry. Uh, Team Reese is speaking to Yellow and C. Okay. On the go with Yellow says, I love my balcony in Alaska and in Norway. Worth it, but it's not your thing. If it's not your thing, not needed. Yeah, it's not needed. But yeah, a lot of people will only cruise balconies. But like I said, as a travel advisor, I'm never gonna. If you ask me for Alaska, I'm not gonna be that travel advisor that only sends you balcony pricing. I'm going to send you all of the so you can figure out which type of cabin works for you. Because balconies are, you can literally spend half the amount on an interior in most cases. That's how they jack up the prices for balconies. Oh, you got back home last night. Well, welcome back. Erica says, yeah, the train costs. We walked around Skagway, also the visitor center. Yes. And see, that's the thing too, because like as a content creator, like I want to show those things that you can just do easily walk, but I also want to show other things. So I try to balance, what can you just do here in port versus what can you do if you step away from the port. And so it's just trying to find that balance. On the go Fiolo says, still catching up on vlogs. Did you enjoy Ovation? Yes, I enjoyed Ovation. Um, yeah, I absolutely loved Ovation. And I think this Quantum class, even this ship, Quantum class, Ovation of the Seas, Odyssey, all of those, I think it's my new favorite class for Royal Caribbean. I just like the layout because everything is like pretty much on two decks. Well, three decks. So you have decks four, decks five, and then you have the casino in deck three and then deck 14. So it's not like some ships are kind of choppy where you have things all over. That's not the case. Where things aren't choppy. Everything is just kind of on the same area. Dorian says Carnival owns the port, so Princess and Holland get priority. Yes. Yes. Cruising Charlie says, welcome in Cruising Charlie says, hopefully the Quantum class ship appears in Florida. I would love to try it. It's a nice class. I personally, I think it's one of my favorites. So, babe, what time is it? What time is it, Joe? We're gonna have to get to lunch here soon. Try to beat some of this crowd.
It is 12:21, and we need to get to the kids club.
It's 12. Is it 12:21 or is it 11:21?
It's 12:21 because my iPad says 1:21.
Okay. All right. So I got about 10 more minutes and I'm going to have to head to get some lunch and get Joe Marie to the Kids Club. If you're just now watching, I appreciate the 123 of you guys watching this impromptu Chit Chat Tuesday. I'm calling it early Chit Chat Tuesday because I know there's a time difference right now wherever you guys are. We normally go live at 7 p.m. Eastern, but going live at 7 p.m. Eastern standard, what time would that be for us? 4?
No,
it would be 3 or 4, and we have dinner at 5. So, but yeah, if you have any other questions, Pixie Ann says, I'm hoping to plan a nursing retreat to Europe. Need some advice for planning and cruising with great things to see. Yeah, if you'd like for me to help plan your retreat, I would love to help. Now, if it's cruise based only, I'm getting a lot of inquiries about Europe that aren't. We strictly are cruising. So if you would like some help, feel free to reach out. On the Go with Yellow says, yes, the quantum layout, my favorites, Odyssey and Anthem. Yes. I have not been on either of those, but looking forward to them. I just love this. Love this layout. Welcome in, Lida Shay. Appreciate you being here. So yeah, we're just getting started with this cruise. Like I said, it's a 7-night. We get off on the 16th and we fly home, I think late that afternoon. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time. I'm really excited. Like right now, here, I'll take you guys out real quick. Right now, well, really, there's nothing to see. Let me just turn the camera around. Like I'm not gonna go out in that cold if I don't have to. Hold on. Right now, you really can't see. Hold on. How do I turn this around? Sorry. Right now, there's really not a lot going on. Here we go. Back camera. All right, let me show you guys. So yeah, that's our balcony. So right now it's just windy. So you're not really seeing much right now, but I think this afternoon is when we'll start getting those scenic views. And this is also, gosh, this balcony. So yeah, you really can't, but it's extremely windy. Very, very windy. So there's like no views or anything right now, but it'll turn. I think I'm going right back in. um, I think later this afternoon is when we'll start getting the scenic views. So that's when it gets fun for Alaska. Right now, we just have to get there. Hold on, let me turn this around. yeah, so things will change, and um like I said, that's when you really get those scenic views, and that for me is the fun time, because I'll just sit out there and look and kind of see if we can spot whales and things like that. We do have binoculars and all that good stuff. Let's see here. Cruising Charlie says we just got off the Virgin Voyages first mate appreciation voyage on board Valiant Lady. Lots of traffic down there. Yes, yes. And I actually um we were invited on board Ovation of the Seas, and then I saw that and I'm like, but we were just on Valiant Lady. We did the 2 night sailing that they had, I don't know, October, I think. So, but I heard that was a good time. Um, the temperatures right now, it's cold. Ron says it's cold. It's like the highs are like 40s. I'm sorry. The lows are in the 40s, the highs like 60. It's gonna warm up. Actually, it feels a little warmer now than it did earlier when I was out. But that's pretty much gonna be the case the whole cruise. But the cold here, so 40 degrees cold here is different because it's that icy, that windy cold. So a little bit different than Ohio. JU, yes, the temperature right now is like, right now it's probably 50, I'm guessing. You have your phone? No? Okay, we can't check it right now, but Will G says we were pretty rocking pretty good that first day. Yeah, we're rocking pretty bad. Last night was really bad. So make sure, like, I have a patch on right now, keep rubbing it. So yeah, you need to make sure you have some sort of seasickness patch, some sort of meds or what have you. And it is pretty rocky. But once you get past that, you're not even going to feel like you're on a cruise ship. But yeah, I mean, there's a view, the ocean view, but it's not when you get into Alaska and you have the mountains and you have the ice caps and that's where it gets beautiful. This is, for me, this is almost like cruising the Caribbean, although it's not the real pretty water once you get there. So I think, if my calculations are correct, probably around 6, 7 o'clock today is when we'll start getting more of those views. Welcome in, Keisha H. Appreciate you being here. Yes, thank you so much. We're excited for it. Cruising Charlie says this one was a 3 night to Bimini. I have the videos on my channel. Are you talking about the travel agent, the Valiant Lady? Yeah, I heard that was a really good time. I had a lot of travel agent friends on board that sailing. So yeah, so I think that was pretty much it. I just wanted to go live. I probably will go live at some other point during this cruise. I'm going to try to get a vlog out for Friday if I can. Right now the reception just is not allowing me. Like, I was trying to upload a members only video that was only 6 minutes long. It's still uploading. So what's happening is the Wi-Fi goes in and out. So it'll start uploading. It'll get to 67, 60, and the Wi-Fi will disconnect and it starts it over. So if I'm able to connect in port and get a video up, the plan would be to have Ovation of the Seas. The final part, because like I said, this was, how long were we on Ovation for? 4 days?
Hey.
3 days? I'm going to combine this 2 sea days together to make one vlog to kind of share with you everything you can do on board Ovation of the Seas. So that'll come out on Friday as long as I can upload. We'll see though. Thank you so much, Beauty Queen. Dennis says, go hit that like button and come back in. Yes, I appreciate that. Destiny says, I must commend you on how detailed you are in every video. Loved your birthday video last year. I'm not sure what ship it was. You all had a great time. Oh, MSC Grandiosa to Europe, the Sisters Cruise. If you enjoyed that vlog, we do have room still on our Sisters Cruising Abroad trip, which is going to be on MSC World Europa, which is the sister ship to MSC World America. We're doing that one June 12th through the 19th of next year. We do still have spots. I think right now we're up to like maybe right at 20 cabins right now. Quite a few of those cabins are solo. We have a lot of solo women wanting to join us. Now, there aren't any more solo cabins available. The solo cabins are sold out. At this point, anything you book is at double occupancy if you are sailing solo. But we have quite a few ladies joining us. Ladies, I'm going to keep saying ladies because I still get inquiries on whether men can go. And I don't like to discriminate like that, but it's a ladies trip for a reason.
So my Uncle Peaches can't go?
Your Uncle Peaches cannot go. He's cutting up again, y'all. Thank you so much, Cruising Charlie. Jay Sav says, Cruise Mapper says it's 50 degrees with a strong breeze. Thank you so much. Yeah, I figured it was. I think this morning it was like right in the 40s or low 40s. And I went out and said, yeah, I think it's a little bit warmer. Still a little cool. But yes. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. I've been live for an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and get back to it. I have some work to get done, and we're going to see what else is going on around the ship. There are a few things that I want to get into, but it's like this morning has just been, I did a stretch class with Joe. I did part of a dance class with Joe. And then after that, it's really like they have a lot of shopping. So what's really nice, they have a really nice selection of Alaskan theme like jackets. If you forget hats, gloves, scarves, they right now they have a $10 sale where you can get really nice gloves and scarves and things for $10 each. I think that's nice to have because I'm sure people forgot or didn't realize how cold it really is. So it's nice that they have that. But there's really nothing else like show wise. They have the bumper cars going right now. I think roller skating later. Kids Club is at capacity, so Jo Marie is not at the Kids Club, but we're going to try to get her there for the 2 o'clock session. That's why we got to have lunch so we can stand in line to get her into the Kids Club. um, John H says, can you please tell me the name of the shuttle from MCO to Port Everglades? I don't have a shuttle company that goes to Port Everglades. From MCO to Port Canaveral would be Cruise Control Transportation. There aren't really any shuttle providers that go from MCO to Port Everglades because it's like a 3 hour ride. So you're not going to find a shuttle provider. You're best just to do a one-way rental car that way, or you can even do the Brightline train. But sometimes it's cheaper just to do the one-way rental than it is to do Brightline. But yeah, you're not going to find a shuttle provider that's going that far. But if you met Port Canaveral, then Cruise Control Transportation would be the one that I recommend. And if you use code MHFAM, you will save 10% off of your booking. Welcome in. Is it Rodolfo? Welcome in from Atlanta. Natasha says, have so much fun. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Cruising Charlie says you can rent a car. Yeah, usually that's what we do if we fly into Orlando and want to get down. Because sometimes it's a lot cheaper to fly into Orlando than it is to fly into Fort Lauderdale or Miami. So we might fly into Orlando and then just get a one-way rental. Thank you so much, Game Changer. Thank you so much, Dina. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close out, but stay tuned. Follow the stories. My stories will always be a day behind. So like I posted stories today from yesterday. I'll post stories tomorrow from today. So stay tuned for that. And I'll post pictures and things along the way. And this vlog, I'm gonna have a pretty quick turnaround on it because I recognize that we're into Alaska season, so people are doing research. So got to kind of play with the algorithm. So this vlog series will have a pretty quick turnaround. I think after Ovation of the Seas, I'm going to release Jo Marie and I's Disney Dream, and then we're going to push out this Quantum of the Seas. And then I think I have 1 or 2 other series that are still kind of in limbo. But want people to have that information for their upcoming travels. And our Alaska vlog series from the last time, which is kind of dated. It's probably our second most watched video on our channel. So people are interested in Alaska. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you're doing well at home. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will check in at some point during the cruise and do a pop-up live. But thanks for being here, and shout out to all of our channel members. I appreciate you guys being here and for being channel members. But we will see you guys later. Take care and stay tuned. Turn the notification bell on. Make sure you're subscribed, all that good stuff. See you guys later.